Children, I hope you have gone through my previous video, and today we will continue further. Children, today we will be studying about water. It is a major component of all living things. Human body has 65% water and plants have as much as 95% water. If you look at the physical properties of water, it is colorless, tasteless, and it has extensive hydrogen bonding, because of which it has a high freezing point, high boiling point, high heat of vaporization, high heat of fusion in comparison to H2S and H2SE. Water also has high specific heat, thermal conductivity, dielectric constant, etc. And because of the extensive hydrogen bonding with polar molecules, even covalent compounds like glucose, alcohols dissolve in water. Now if you look at the structure of water, it has a bent structure and the angle between two hydrogen atoms is 104.5 degree. Bond length is 95.7 pm. The water molecule is a dipole in which the two hydrogen atoms have delta positive charge, whereas oxygen has 2 delta negative charge on it. Now next is structure of ice. So ice crystals were examined with X-rays, and it showed that each oxygen atom is surrounded tetrahedrally by 4 other oxygen atoms at a distance of 276 pm. Hydrogen bonding gives an open cage-like structure to ice, and they have empty spaces. In detail, you can study about it in the chapter chemical bonding. Now next is chemical properties of water. So first property is that water is amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric means it can act both as acid as well as base. When it reacts with a base like ammonia, water gives NH4 plus OH minus. So here it is acting like an acid. But when it acts like an acid like H2S, then it gives you H3O plus HS minus. So in this case it is acting like a base. So it is amphoteric in nature. Ampho means both. Now next property is redox reactions. So it shows reactions like when water reacts with sodium 2H2O plus 2Na, it gives you 2NaOH plus H2. Similarly with carbon dioxide, this reaction you studied in the process of photosynthesis. 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives you C6H12O6 glucose plus 6H2O plus 6O2. With fluorine, it gives 2F2 plus 2H2O gives you 4HF plus O2. So all these are redox reactions. Then water also takes part in hydrolysis reaction and hydrolyzes the substances reacting with it. First is P4O10 plus 6H2O gives you 4H3PO4 phosphoric acid. SiCl4 plus 2H2O gives SiO2 plus 4HCl. Al4C3 plus 12H2O gives you 4AlOH thrice plus 3CH4. CaC2 plus 2H2O, it gives you calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice plus C2H2. Mg3N2 plus 6H2O gives you magnesium hydroxide, 3MgOH whole twice plus 2NH3. So these are the hydrolysis reactions. Apart from it, water forms hydrates in coordination compounds. It gives coordinated water like CrH2O whole 6 3 plus 3Cl minus. So it is in the main coordination complex and it is acting as a ligand. So it is coordinated water. It can also form interstitial water like BaCl2.2H2O, simply 2 molecules of water being added to BaCl2. Hydrogen bonded water like CuH2O4 2 plus SO4 2 minus. In this, again, this water is bonded by hydrogen bond, and this dot H2O is added to it, or it can be like CuSO4.5H2O. Okay, So water forms hydrates. Now there are two types of water, hard water and soft water. How do we know which water is hard and which water is soft? Hard water does not give lather with soap, whereas soft water gives lather with soap. Why it is so? Because hard water has calcium and magnesium salts in the form of hydrogen carbonate, chloride and sulfate in water. And water which is free from soluble salts of calcium and magnesium, it is called as soft water. So hard water forms scum or precipitate with soap, which contains sodium salt of higher fatty acids. The reaction is, see here, sodium stearate. This is the formula of soap, C17H35COONA. Two molecules of this react with Ca2 plus to give you C17H35COO whole twice Ca. This is calcium. It gets converted into calcium stearate and sodium ions are released, 2Na plus. So this calcium stearate forms a white precipitate, which is this is hard water, is harmful for laundry as well as boilers. Now if you look at the type of hardness, there are two types of hardness: temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Now the temporary hardness is due to presence of magnesium and calcium hydrogen carbonates, and it can be removed by two ways. First is boiling. Magnesium hydrogen carbonate, MgHCO3, on heating gives you magnesium hydroxide, MgOH whole twice plus 2 CO2. Same way calcium hydrogen carbonate, it gives you calcium carbonate plus H2O plus CO2. So these will MgOH twice and CaCO3, they form precipitate and the hardness of water is removed. Next method is Clark's method. In this method, lime is added to precipitate out calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide, which can be filtered off. See, calcium hydrogen carbonate plus CaOH whole twice, lime water. It gives you 2 CaCO3 plus 2H2O. Similarly, magnesium hydrogen carbonate, MgHCO3 whole twice plus 2 CaOH whole twice, it gives you 2 CaCO3 plus MgOH whole twice plus 2H2O. So in this way the temporary hardness can be removed. Second type of hardness is permanent hardness. This is due to soluble salts of magnesium and calcium in form of chloride and sulfate. So it cannot be removed by boiling. There are three ways of removing it. First is by treating with washing soda. So metal MCl2, if it is treated with Na2CO3, it is Na2CO3, just a minute, Na2CO3, here also it is Na2CO3. When you treat it with Na2CO3, it gives you MCO3 plus 2NaCl. M here is any metal like calcium and magnesium. Similarly, MSO4 plus Na2CO3 will give you MCO3 plus Na2SO4. And I've already told you what is M. In this case, M is equal to calcium or magnesium, because this is what causes the hardness of water and we have to remove this. Okay. Next way of removing hardness, permanent hardness, is Calgon's method. Sodium hexametaphosphate, Na6P6O18, which is also called as Calgon, is added to hard water. See, 2CaCl2 reacts with Calgon, Na2Na4PO3 whole 6, and it gives you Na2Ca2PO3 whole 6. This is a complex salt plus 4 NaCl. Similarly here, 2MgSO4 plus Na2Na4PO3 whole 6 will give you Na2Mg2PO3 whole 6. Again, this is a complex salt plus Na2S4. So Calgon's method is also used for removal of permanent hardness. And the third method that is used for removing permanent hardness is ion exchange method. So in ion exchange method, it is also called as permuted method. So in this, hydrated sodium aluminium silicate Na2Al2Si3O8.XH2O, they are called as zeolites. So zeolites are what? Hydrated sodium aluminium silicate. So it can be represented as Na2Z, where Z is Al2Si2O8.XH2O. Okay, Z is what? Al2Si2O8.XH2O, and you combine it with Na2, so it becomes Na2Al2Si2O8.XH2O. This is a zeolite. This combines with calcium chloride and it gives you CaZ plus 2 NaCl. Similarly, it will combine with magnesium chloride. It will give you MgZ, that means MgAl2Si2O8.XH2O plus 2 NaCl. We've used the term Z to make the equation look easier. Okay. Zeolite is said to be exhausted as sodium is consumed, which is regenerated by treatment with NaCl solution. So CaZ can be treated again with NaCl to give you Na2Z. This is again zeolite. Na2Al2Si2O8.XH2O plus CaCl2, and here also MgZ plus 2 NaCl will give you Na2Z plus MgCl2. So this is important. It is often asked what are zeolites. Now next is heavy water. Heavy water is given by the formula D2O. I told you in the beginning itself the isotopes of water, hydrogen, protium, deuterium and tritium. So in this, deuterium oxide. So heavy water can be prepared by exhaustive electrolysis of water or as a byproduct in some fertilizer industries. Now the properties of heavy water, it is used in preparation of other deuterite compounds. For example, CaC2 plus 2 D2O gives you C2D2 plus CaOD whole twice. SO3 plus D2O gives you D2SO4. Al4C3 plus 12 D2O gives you 3CD4 plus 4ALOD whole thrice. So D2O is extensively used as a moderator in nuclear reactors and in exchange reactions for study of reaction mechanism. This is about heavy water. Next we come to hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide. Now hydrogen peroxide, first we come to the preparation. It is prepared, first method of preparation is Merck's process, in which Na2O2 plus H2SO4 gives you Na2SO4 plus H2O2, and on cooling, crystals of Na2SO4.10H2O separate out and the resulting solution contains 30% of H2O2. Then next is the laboratory method. In laboratory, it is prepared from BaO2.8H2O plus H2SO4. It gives you BaSO4 plus H2O2 plus 8H2O. The white precipitate of barium sulfate is filtered off and solution contains 5% H2O2. Now, use of hydrated BaO2.8H2O does not allow formation of insoluble barium sulfate, so it prevents further reaction. Next is by electrolysis of H2SO4. Now in this case we take 50% H2SO4. Now electrolysis means the H2SO4 splits into H plus and HSO4 minus. At cathode, the reaction that is taking place is 2H plus 2 electrons gives you H2, and at anode 2HSO4 minus gives you H2S2O8 plus 2 electrons. H2SO8 is called as per disulfuric acid. Okay, now this H2S2O8 combines with 2 molecules of water to give you 2H2SO4 plus H2O2. The solution is distilled under reduced pressure. This method is also used for laboratory preparation of D2O2, in that you take K2S2O8 plus D2O and it gives you 2KDSO4 plus D2O2. Now the fourth method of preparation of hydrogen peroxide is by using by auto-oxidation of 2-ethyl anthraquinol. Now 2-ethyl anthraquinol, when it reacts with oxygen in presence of hydrogen or palladium, it gives you H2O2 plus 2-ethyl anthraquinone. From quinol it becomes quinone. From alcohol it gets converted to ketone. In this case 1% H2O2 is formed. It is extracted with water and concentrated to 30% by mass distillation under reduced pressure. It can be further concentrated to 85% by careful distillation under reduced pressure. Now we come to the physical properties. In pure state, H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide is colorless, very pale blue liquid. Its density is 1.44 gram per centimeter cube. Boiling point is 272.4 Kelvin. Melting point is 272.4 Kelvin and boiling point is 423 Kelvin. Now let's proceed further with the chemical properties of hydrogen peroxide. Now in the chemical properties, first property is oxidizing nature. In acidic medium, 2FeSO4 plus H2O2 plus H2SO4 gives you FeSO4 whole thrice plus 2H2O. Similarly, PbS plus 4H2O2 gives you PbSO4 plus 4H2O. 2Ki plus H2SO4 plus H2O2 gives you K2SO4 plus I2 plus 2H2O. So in this, oxidation is taking place. Now in basic medium, 2Fe2 plus H2O2 gives you 2Fe3 plus. From Fe2 plus it is getting converted to Fe3 plus 2OH minus. Similarly, Mn2 plus H2O2 plus 2OH minus gives you MnO2 plus 2H2O. The next property is reducing property. Now in acidic medium, 2KMnO4 plus 3H2SO4 plus 5H2O2 gives you K2SO4 plus 2MnSO4 plus 8H2O plus 5O2. HOCl plus H2O2 gives you H2O plus HCl plus O2, and Cl2 plus H2O2 gives you 2HCl plus O2. In basic medium, it reacts with iodine. I2 plus H2O2 plus 2OH minus gives you 2I minus plus 2H2O plus O2, and KMnO4, 2KMnO4 plus 3H2O2 gives you 2MnO2 plus 2KOH plus 2H2O plus 3O2. Now we come to storage. Hydrogen peroxide decomposes slowly on exposure to light. 2H2O2, if it comes in presence of light, it gets converted into 2H2O plus O2. In presence of metal surface or traces of alkali, the rate of reaction is increased. Therefore, it is stored in wax-lined glass or plastic vessels in dark. Urea can be added as a stabilizer. It is kept away from dust because it can cause explosive decomposition of the compound. So storage has to be done carefully. Now next is the structure of hydrogen peroxide. See, it is a non-planar molecule because two OH bonds are in different planes. See here, one is in this plane, the other one is in the other plane. Now in between the two planes, the angle is the 111.5 degree. In gaseous phase, in solid phase, this angle is 90.2 degree. In gaseous phase as well as solid phase, the bond lengths are the same. Like OH here is 95 pm, and between O and O it is 147.5 pm. But in solid state, the bond length OH between OH is 98.8 pm, and between O and O it is 145.8 pm. Okay, the angle between O and H is in gaseous phase 94.8, and in solid phase it is 101.9. Otherwise the shapes in both the phases, they are the same. Now next is strength of hydrogen peroxide. First is percentage strength. It is the mass of H2O2 in gram present in 100 ml solution of H2O2. So mass in grams per 100 ml solution of H2O2, that is called as percentage strength. You know, percentage means upon 100. Next is volume strength. Volume strength, it is the volume of oxygen at NTP that one volume of sample of hydrogen peroxide gives on heating. Like for example, 10 volumes means that one volume of the sample of hydrogen peroxide gives 10 volumes of oxygen at NTP. So how much oxygen it is giving at NTP, that is that much volume it is. So 10 volume solution of H2O2 is 3.035% solution. So 2H2O2 will give you 2H2O plus O2. So H2O2 mass is 68 grams, and oxygen at NTP is 22400 ml. So 22400 ml of oxygen is obtained at NTP from 68 gram of H2O2. 10 ml of oxygen will be obtained from unitary method. Say you can do it, 68 upon 22400 into 10. That comes to 0.03035 grams of H2O2. And 100 ml of oxygen, you multiply it by 100, you get 3.035 gram of H2O2. So remember this, volume strength is equal to 5.6 into normality, volume strength is equal to 11.2 into molarity, and volume strength is equal to 56 into percentage strength upon 17. These are the formulas that you need to remember for doing your numericals. And numericals are asked to calculate the strength of hydrogen peroxide solution. Now next is strength in gram per liter. It is equal to the grams of hydrogen peroxide present in 1 liter solution. So strength in gram per liter is given by the formula normality into 17 or molarity into 34. So this is how you will calculate the strength of H2O2. Now next is the uses. It is used as hair bleach, disinfectant, antiseptic, to manufacture chemicals like sodium perborate and high quality detergent, used in synthesis of hydroquinone, tartaric acid, food products and pharmaceuticals, used as bleaching agent for textiles, paper pulp, leather, oils, fats, etc. And it is used in environmental chemistry. So this is the chapter, this completes your chapter hydrogen. You just revise the notes that have been given to you and go through the question answers given behind the chapter in your book.